Welcome to week 2 of the SFL on VFN, live from the Dungeon of Dracarius Coliseum here in our nation's capital, the District of Columbia. Home to the DC Dragons, sitting at 1-0 as they welcome in the Chicago Warriors, also sitting at 1-0 on the young SFL season 25. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody, alongside Aiden Texera. My name is Eric Benson. We've got JW Hartshorn and Mike Daggs in the stats truck, and Commissioner Cameron Irvine back at SFL HQ. Aiden, how are we doing today? Welcome to the broadcast team, my friend.
Thank you very much. A great game, and I think I can see a great game is going to come out in here. I love both teams, and I love what both teams did week 1. So I'm interested to see what happens.
Yeah, both teams coming in at 1-0. DC having gut one out against Carolina, and in their first away game, this there being their home opener here today, and Chicago beating a good Minnesota team as well. So both of these teams tried and tested early on, and we will see what comes of it here in our nation's capital as DC will get the football to start things off.
See what they can do on this opening kickoff here.
And we are underway. Short kick, fielded inside the 5. Right up the middle, out to the 30-yard line, and across the 30-yard line to the 32. And that is Peanut Say with the return. We will get our first look at Shabazz Synergy, number 8 under center here for the Dragons.
I did have a conversation with him earlier before this game, and he was talking about how Chicago opens a problems for this team, but he, with the excellent outing and the Minnesota team, they would like to control the numbers and limit their offensive opportunities. Let's see what we got.
Gonna go play action rollout and incomplete, intended for Lauren Percoco over the middle. Good stop there by Melodious Manning, bringing up second down.
That's how you break up that coverage right there. Hits him right when the ball gets to his stomach, forces the drop.
From a bunch of receivers towards the top of the formation, Kevin Say, the lone back in the formation. And it's going to be a pitch play. Actually, it's going to be the backup running back, Sam Harrison, as he gets a burst of speed along the outside, and he'll get the first down of the ball game here for the Dragons.
That was beautiful blocking on the outside there by the offensive line, specifically number 13 right there. Double blocks, that was beautiful. Couldn't ask for a better block there.
That'll give us an opportunity to look at the DC Dragons offense following this play. As Chuck Steller now checks into the ball game as the single back. And he'll get the carry right up the middle. Big hit there as he keeps rumbling. Chuck Steller with a huge play. Back-to-back big runs for the Dragons.
He just flattened the man. That's what we call flattening.
Look at that, great play, lowering the shoulder. That's exactly what you want out of your fullback. 5'11", 240 pounds. Certainly wouldn't want to meet them in the middle of the field on that play.
Looks like they're setting up another run play, bunching up that line.
It's going to be a carry, this time to Kevin Say. All sorts of problems coming out of the backfield, and he'll be fortunate enough to make it back to the line of scrimmage. Let's look at that DC Dragons offense here. Shabazz Synergy at quarterback, Kevin Say and Sam Harrison, the running backs, Chuck Steller at fullback, Ronnie Shanahan, Mason Kirby, Connor Weston, the wide receivers, Jay Hayden, Lauren Percoco, and James Walters are the tight ends. We've got Connie Cook, Al Friedman, and Michael Percoco along the offensive line. Chicago showing blitz. They'll send it. Harrison with the carry, and again, fortunate enough to get back to the line of scrimmage, setting up a 3rd and long.
With the massive tackle there, stopping him before he can get any further.
Just barely in Chicago territory here. Going to be tough to get a field goal. We'll need to get a few more yards here on this 3rd and 10. Synergy going to throw it into coverage, incomplete.
No, it was complete. You got that.
Weston, good catch there. Yeah, absolutely. Over the middle.
Beautiful rollout by Synergy. He's got a beautiful catch. Holds on to the ball. I thought that was incomplete too.
So now a fresh set of downs here for the Dragons. Into the SFL red zone we go, just inside the 20-yard line.
So wishbone formation there.
Quick handoff, Kevin Say up the middle, only a couple of yards, and we'll look at the Chicago defense while we have a moment. Jad McPherson, Peter Mark, DeBrickashaw Molyneux, all along the front three. DJ Kilgannon at linebacker, Havo Ramsey, Zachary Hamburger, Derek Majors, and Ricky Robinson, along with Melodious Manning at corners. Cronkworthy, Alex Bond, Dylan Bamsler, and J.J. Bailey are the safeties as we get an incomplete pass along the far sideline intended for Connor Weston, sitting at 36.
Great break up right there. Spawned. Way to keep it. That could have been very close to that red zone. They want to try to limit them to 3 here.
Already converted 1 third down on this drive here.
It's a man in motion to the right side of the screen.
Play action for Synergy. Sets his feet, looking, gonna go end zone, tipped and incomplete. He had an open man and he just dropped it.
It's a missed opportunity for a touchdown to settle for a field goal.
Yeah, Ronnie Shanahan, the intended receiver, and man, he was wide open, just couldn't quite reel that one in. So it's gonna be a field goal opportunity here for the Dragons as they trot out Ron Van Cleef.
That was a miscommunication, I think, by that Chicago defense. Ultimately didn't pay off for much after Shanahan, the ball popped off of Shanahan's hands right there.
33-yard attempt to start things off is up, and it is through for the Dragons as they put 3 on the board. Going 10 plays, 53 yards in just under 3 minutes. Good start here for the Dragons offense. Now we'll see how the Warriors respond here, getting their first possession of the ball game. And a kneel down in the middle of the end zone. We'll bring the ball out to the 20-yard line. We'll see Ty Patak take over here on offense for the Warriors. Interesting to point out, they don't have a star running back, so they'll shift some guys in and out of the lineup as they start off with split backs with Patak under center. Shovel pass up the middle and dragged down. Gain of 6 there to start things off, and that was to Fred Beasley, the fullback.
Interesting to see 2-back formation like that. You don't see that much in modern football.
You don't see the shovel pass all that often, especially not first play from scrimmage, but it seemed to work just fine for them, getting 6 out of the play. Now we'll see a pitch play. Good blocking along the edge, but cutting it back inside for a gain of maybe a few and set up 3rd and short.
I did speak to the Chicago head coach, and he did say that he wants to drag this run game out to take DC into deep waters where they can't compete.
Should be seeing a heavy dose of that run game here tonight. Certainly an interesting game plan. 3rd and short, up the middle, first down yardage and more, out across the 30-yard line. Great job by Chicago.
Another beautiful run right up the middle. Interesting to see how heavy they're leaning on the run with no contracted running back.
An offset eye, 2 receivers. DC showing blitz, they'll send it. Patak will throw to start things off. He's going to go ahead and take off and run. He's been known to do that. Had 80 yards rushing, 80-plus yards, I should say, just a week ago against Minnesota.
What a game that was, beating a very impressive Minnesota team. Good for Chicago. Let's see if they can replicate the same success tonight.
After that gain of 7, still no passing yards tonight for Chicago, and there will continue to be none as we get another rush. Wheatley able to get just enough for the first down, and then we'll keep the sticks moving.
I was looking around. It was an interesting fact. Chicago has never beaten DC in a head-on-head matchup. 0-2 on the series.
Looking to change that here today on the road in season 25. Patak, delayed handoff. DC having trouble stopping this rushing attack early on. It seems like that early game plan is working to perfection here for the Warriors.
Let's see what I would assume another one here, but Maybe they switch it up a little bit. No, that's definitely going to be a run.
Definitely looked like a run formation. Heavy formation there.
Offensive line.
Wheatley, another carry there. He'll go up the middle, and again, another fresh set of downs. So the Warriors definitely keeping it on the ground here for this possession.
Reminds me of that 70s style offense with just running the ball right up the middle, typical smash mouth football right now. Love to see it.
And DC's having trouble stopping it. And the DC 40, Patak going to throw for the first time. Wide open past the defense. And that's going to be inside the SFL red zone. Big gain.
And what a catch there by Paulie Truth. Almost, if that guy didn't get him, he was going touchdown. If 24 wasn't there. Convinced.
Maybe a little more loft on the ball, too. If Patak had thrown maybe a little bit of a better ball, allowed Truth to get underneath it right in the breadbasket, might be 7. Instead, it's going to be a fumble! And it looks like DC has picked it up. No, it's going to stay with Chicago. It looked early on like DC might have had it, but I think Chicago got it.
And that is just number one of what you... Wait, did DC get it? DC did get it.
DC did get it. Wow.
That did look at the angle. The defensive lineman picked it up. I didn't get to see the number.
Sea of bodies there. It was very difficult to tell who exactly picked it up, but it does look like DC is going to get the first turnover of the ball game, and impeccable timing on that as they were having trouble stopping that Chicago offense. Stellar with a carry there for 4 on first down.
I mean, you couldn't ask for a better ending to a drive to get that, force the ball out of the running back's hands. And now we're going to see DC if they can take advantage of it.
Too wide, couple tight ends in the formation. Run play once again to Stellar. He's been running tough here early going. And close to another first down for DC.
Both teams leveling out in that one game. You can see it with DC's just as much as Chicago's been doing it. As we approach 3 minutes left in this first quarter.
In a quick moving first quarter, a lot of rushing from both of these teams, keeping the clock going. Another heavy formation. Shabazz going to take it himself. He's still on his feet, and he's going to get the first down.
If he broke that second tackle, that might have been a touchdown.
Again, huge sea of humanity right there at the line of scrimmage. And I think you're right, Aiden. If he broke one more tackle, he was probably gone.
I mean, we've seen the speed from him before. That could have ended a lot worse for Chicago than it did.
For Coco in motion, offset eye. Keeping it on the ground, this time to Kevin Say. Nothing doing. Chicago clamping down on that one, maybe a half a yard.
And they're fighting down on that run defense. Let's see if DC leans more into their pass game now. I don't know if I throw it to Shanahan after that bad drop, though.
We'll see if he's getting back in the good graces of the head coach along the sideline there to get another target. Synergy. Throws. A little too much mustard on that one. Airmailed his intended receiver. Looked like that was Mason Kirby. Going to be third down.
Yeah, I don't know where that was throwing to. Maybe he saw something that we didn't. Maybe there was an invisible player. I don't know. That, who knows, you know?
Those type of plays will happen, especially here in the big leagues. 3rd and 9. Blitz coming. Synergy going to roll out. He'll fire it near sideline. Catch going to be made, and that's Connor Weston near the 40-yard line. DC will extend the drive.
What a way to catch that. Now DC having more yards than Chicago on 2 drives, which is kind of impressive. But what a catch there by number 83. Connor Weston. Names are not naming.
Going with the split back look here. Handoff. Again, Chicago doing a good job with this rushing attack. Seems if they're not bouncing it to the outside, then Chicago's got a good beat on it, really only giving up a yard or 2.
Absolutely. If they're stacking the blocks right here. They've been stacking the blocks recently, but watch this. There's three backs on the side of your screen. I would expect there's two blitz and one's going to come over with that corner. Number 24 is moving out, and he's going to be watching that man wide out. It's just going to be a distraction, but it didn't work.
And it didn't work on that play either. We were just talking about how they could possibly bounce it to the outside. They've been getting good yardage. Not on that one. Only a yard or two, maybe. And setting up a 3rd and long here with just under 30 seconds to go in the opening frame. 5 wide here for the Dragons. Shabazz looking. Plenty of time. Gonna fire one into traffic, and it's picked off. Chicago going back the other way with a caravan and eventually ushered out of bounds at the DC 49-yard line, and that's picked off by number 25, Derek Majors.
We had 2 tackles on this game, and that's how it was another interception. Beautiful coverage right there by our Chicago defense the entire time. And just honestly, just a bad throw by the quarterback, and, you know, that happens sometimes.
Yeah, we've seen a couple overthrows early on here for Shabazz. Both these teams seem to be figuring each other out. Both teams with a turnover now.
Do you go back to the running game after the fumble?
Well, they're going to go passing attack, and again, going back to Pauly Truth. Looked like a very similar play to the big chunk play to set them up inside the red zone, just a possession to go. But here they are, closing out the first quarter with a big play.
Teams basically at a stalemate. DC with that early field goal, making it 3-0. We have an interesting rest of the game coming up.
DC 3, Chicago nothing. End of 1 here in our nation's capital. You're watching the SFL on VFN. Alongside Aiden Texera, my name is Eric Vincent, JW Hartshorn, Mike Daggs on the stats truck, and Commissioner Kevin Irvine back at SFL HQ. Flip sides of the field, right back at it. Second quarter of action underway here. And right up the middle again. Seems like they're focusing on the middle of the field, and DC having a hard time stopping it, Aiden.
If you want to spread that into deep waters, they're going to attack the weak point, and the weak point that they're seeing right now is that defensive line.
Inside the 30 now. Attack to throw. Going to check it down. Big hit on the back end. And that's going to jar the football loose. We'll get a look at the Chicago offense here quickly while we have a moment. Type attack at quarterback. Caleb Giffis, John Fullerton, Bobby Tarantino, the wide receivers. Dean Jackson, Pauly Truth, the tight ends. Jackie Jones, Jess Fullerton Galarza, Finney Flex, Rick Ross, and Robin Mono are on the offensive line. 3rd and 6 now. Attack, sets his feet, fires, open man, got to be Fullerton, and that's a first down.
Beautiful little pass there to Fullerton from Patek. Interesting. They're sitting in the red zone. They're sitting pretty.
Great job of setting his feet and just finding that open man there, Aiden.
That was wide open on the side, right up the middle.
So now inside the SFL red zone for a second time. Fumbled the football early on, going back to the run game. Tackle made right at the line of scrimmage. We'll look at the DC defense. Kano Fortson, John Gary, Seth Harrison, Mike Wagner, and Jose Fuentes along the front 4. Nick Fargo, Chris Britton III are the linebackers. Jadoobie Doo, Daryl Bullock, the corners. Billy Beers, Tyler Highfield, Peanut Say, and Kev Say Jr. Safety. Second down here for Patak, who's looking for an open receiver. He's going to throw a pick.
This is the game of defenses right now. Why would you throw that? You had all that. You could have scrambled out to the left. Why did Patak throw that? Look how much time he had. And he had an open man right there. Right, if you looked right downfield, he had the open man on that comeback route, but instead throws a ball-headed pass, cross body right to the interception.
Looked like early on, maybe the receiver had a step on Bullock, but it was good closing speed there, and Patak just missed it. That was easily a late ball.
That's the second costly turnover by Chicago, both times in the red zone this game.
Pitch going to Harrison. He's had success on the outside and continues to have that, as he'll get 14 yards on the carry there.
It's another beautiful run by Seth Harrison. That's 32 on 3 carries. He's averaging 10, almost 11 yards per carry. What a game for him so far.
DC only points on the board that came off of their initial possession. Synergy threw a turnover, or threw an interception, I should say. Chicago has turned the ball over twice now. Shabazz going to throw it. Kevin Say with the reception there, gain of 6, and it's going to bring up 2nd and 4.
Looked like a little preemptive spin move there. I anticipated the spin. The spin would have worked, but he did a little early there. Launching up that line again, looking for that run probably. Oh, not up the middle. It's going to be
Stellar, good stiff arm there as he bounces it to the outside, and DC is starting to get some success with the rushing attack.
Beautiful full catch there. Gets a massive stiff arm, almost gets the first down and a little more. Actually, he did get the first down, I'm sorry.
So they'll creep into Chicago territory. They'll mark it down at about the 45-yard line. About 7.5 to go here in the second quarter. I formation, Shabazz going to roll out, throws into coverage, but it's caught by Prococo anyway.
That looked like an interception for a second there. I looked like that was going to be picked right off, but it's not a great catch by the tight end, Prococo. I think I pronounced that right.
So fresh set of downs here following the big gain to Prococo. Inside the 35, mark it just inside the 34. Offset I, carry up the middle for Kevin Say. He hasn't had a ton of success, but he gets a big run there for maybe 9.5.
Run up the middle by the DC Dragons. That was a poor play there by that Chicago defensive line. Let's see what they have in store for 2nd and inches.
A lot of bodies in the box here for the Warriors on defense. Tight end in motion here for the Dragons.
2-back formation here. They're going to let this clock tick.
And Shabazz going to try and get it himself, and looks like he just barely got enough. QB sneak working in those short yardage situations there for the Dragons.
It's a great QB run there. It's going to be one of his longest runs, only 4 yards on his, 5 yards on 2 runs. Great run by him.
And another interception. Shabazz having all sorts of trouble with the football as Bond comes up with the pick.
I'm not sure what I just saw there. I'm not sure. Obviously, he was looking to get Lauren Prococo again, but that was just underthrown and right into the hands of the defense.
We saw a pass there from Synergy to Prococo. It looked like maybe an interception early on. Looked like they went back to a similar play. This time, Chicago's defense getting the better of Shabazz. As each team now with 2 turnovers. And Chicago with an opportunity to get some points on the board yet again.
A battle of the defenses right now. Both defenses letting up yards, but in the end just turning the ball over. Interesting to see what happened.
DC had themselves a slow start last week as well against Carolina, and they eventually rebounded and took the lead and the win within the final minute of play. Big play there from Truth, and it's going to be another first down.
What a catch right up the middle there, double coverage. Was the 4th drive in a row ending in a turnover.
Both these teams having trouble taking care of the football early on. But Chicago looking to get themselves right with a big play to Truth. He's been their big man through the air so far. Attack back to the air. Giving chase is the defense. Throws into coverage again and incompletes. Defense had an opportunity at the pick.
Down on the field, they're going to take a injury timeout to check him out.
Bobby Tarantino, the injured receiver there. And looks like he's walking off on his own power. We'll keep an eye on the injury report along the sidelines and see when he can come back to action.
Always rough when a player gets injured.
Yeah, most definitely. Now 2nd and 10. Split backs again here for the Warriors. They've run a lot out of this formation. And will continue to do that. Delayed handoff and only a couple yards.
Favoring that run up the middle on 2nd and 10. Now that you're going to have to, you're 3rd and long, what do you do here? I don't know what plays in the playbook for this one.
Fargo, another tackle there. He's been popular on the defense tonight. DC might be blitzing on this 3rd and 8. They'll go back out of it. Attack, throws over the middle, short of the 1st down marker, and nowhere close to it. Only a couple of yards. It'll be a 4th down.
Good idea by the Chicago offense, but overall just blown up by that amazing defense by DC. We're going to have the first punt of the game.
Kelly Giffis only a short 2-yard catch there. Low snap. Punt gets away. No fair catch called, and a big tackle on the back end. Only made it out to about the 12-yard line penalty marker. And it looks like it's going to be a face mask.
It did look like a face mask when he dragged him down, or a horse collar tackle, if that's a rule in this league.
It definitely looked like some sort of penalty. You know, no which way about it. Definitely looks like a penalty.
Yeah, exactly, definitely.
So 15 yards better now for the Dragons, setting up shop at the 29-yard line.
See if they lean more into that running game again.
Hand off to fullback Stellar. He's been running it well. We get a look at the average yards per play there. Just over 6 yards per play for Chicago, but they can't take care of the football.
Neither team can take care of the football, apparently. 4 turnovers. Hopefully, let's not make it a 5th here.
Eight-yard gain there by Stellar on 1st down, setting up 2nd and 2. Shabazz going to sneak it, and he's going to slide. Good thing Bond was back there in safety position. Otherwise, Shabazz would have been gone.
That's another one of those QB runs that they've been doing. Running to perfection this game on those short downs. And Shabazz is just going crazy with those runs.
Great piece of the game planning here for the Dragons. As Synergy going to roll out. One-handed grab by Prococo over the middle. Catch made into Chicago territory.
That was a great grab there. It looked a little bit overthrown, but Prococo manages to get it down anyway.
Paid for it on the back end. It was a big hit by number 32, Ricky Robinson, coming up and playing coverage there. But a 1st down. Under 3 to go here in the 1st half. Very quick 1st half of action. Back to the ground game. Stellar gets bobbled up. Only maybe a gain of a half a yard.
And that's one of those plays where you bunch up the defensive line, hope for a run on that first play, and they did run it, and the defensive line did their job.
Bamsler with the tackle, his 3rd tonight. Bringing up 2nd and 9. Back to the ground game again. Kevin Say, spin move, and looks like we might have another face mask here.
Yeah, there's another face mask call. Another costly penalty by the Chicago defense.
Going to be the incidental variety, so only 5 yards on that one. But again, just another silly penalty giving DC extra yards.
Extra 5 yards and an extra down. That's going to bring it out to 1st and 10.
Stellar with the carry once again, up the middle. And gain of about 3 or 4 as we hit the 2-minute warning here in our nation's capital. Defensive slugfest from both of these teams as DC has a slim 3-0 lead.
Interesting defensive game so far. Not very many giant plays and a lot of turnovers.
Chicago gearing up for yet another run play. A lot of bodies in the box here. Stellar gets the carry, trying to move the pile. Only maybe gets a couple of yards, and that's going to set up a 3rd and 3.
And they're looking like, reminds me of the Chicago Bears of old, with this smash mouth defense. Upping the box with all these defensive linemen. It looks like they're going to try to do it again.
Instead, Synergy going to throw and throws it into double coverage again, looking for Prokoko. And it falls to the turf, so we'll see another field goal opportunity for the Dragons.
Any points? This is great end by Chicago. 46-yard attempt for the kicker here. See if he can he drilled the first one. See if he can drill this one as well.
This one right down the pipe. And it's going to be a 6-0 lead here for the Dragons as they add another field goal off the 9-play drive.
That kicker's been putting in extra time today.
No kidding.
Someone give him a pay raise.
Folks, it's been a minute, and we hope you haven't forgotten. It's super simple to smash that like button and help the channel out. We just crossed the 8,500 subscriber mark, so subscribe if you haven't already, so you'll never miss a live stream, highlight, or podcast. We appreciate your support of the Virtual Football Network and the SFL. As Chicago brings the return out to the 28-yard line, they'll have just under 90 seconds to work with and all 3 timeouts.
1st and 10 here. Chicago's been heavily leaning on this run game. Let's see if they continue to do so.
Going back to the split back look, too wide. Attack to throw. Quick one to Wheatley coming out of the backfield. Only a short gain of 3, and that's going to keep the clock going.
They're going to want to play hurry-up offense on this one. Minute to go. You want to get points on the board at least, so you're not down by 6 going into this end of the first half. DC with a lot more plays than Chicago.
Absolutely. They've been running a few productive drives here, 2 of them ending in points as attack and throw bobbled and incomplete. It was looking for Dean Jackson, I believe, and couldn't quite reel that one in.
Now you're sitting at a 3rd down here. What do you call up on the play sheet for this?
Well, it usually opens up the playbook being kind of 3rd and manageable-ish, but especially with it being under a minute to go, it's going to be tough, especially against this tough DC defense.
Going to need to take a shot downfield to at least get into field goal range.
Attack pump fakes, trying to find a little bit of room. He's going to take off and run, trying to find a block and doesn't get it.
He just got obliterated. Should have slid. I would have slid there, but or at least try to get out of bounds. Ran right up into the open field. Costly error. Kind of reminds me of the Will Howard one against the Oregon game. You just know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, big hit on that one for sure. And now a short return here for the Dragons out to the 25-yard line. They'll have just under 20 seconds to work with, all 3 timeouts, but something tells me that they're not going to be in any hurry to move the football down the field.
And just a stalled out drive again by Chicago. That's been the story all game. Of just stalled out drives with great defense.
So I anticipate DC would probably want to run this thing out and head to the locker rooms with a 6-0 lead. Chicago does get the second half kickoff. It's going to be a pitch play to Harrison. Avoids the initial contact, avoids the second defender. He's been running hard all game long. Big gain of 7 there, and that should close out the quarter.
What a strong first half, or specifically a second quarter for DC. And they're just going to let this clock tick. With a 6-point lead going into the second half.
DC up 6-0 as we hit the end of the first half. Tough defensive struggle from both of these teams. Chicago going to get the ball to start the second half. Aiden Texera, your thoughts, my friend?
My thoughts is this has been a defensive slugfest going back and forth. Chicago really needs to take better care of the ball, and they need to stop with these just run plays on third and thing. Patek especially has been having a very hard time throwing the ball, and as soon as he feels a little pressure, he's going to scramble out, which in that last case did not help because you were sitting at 20-something seconds on the clock, and you need a play that's going 30, 40 yards. That's not what you got to do there, and DC also needs to probably take better care of the ball. Defense has been playing great, and they just need to keep going.
Both DC and Chicago having a tough time with getting anything going here offensively, as Paulie Truth, the player to watch for here at the end of the first half, had 3 catches, 68 yards. As we now reset here for the second half, Chicago to receive the football.
Need a better drive than that last one.
Big kick, center of the end zone, going to be brought out. Good spin move there, keeping the return alive, and that's Tarantino, who got injured in the first half of play. Looks like he's back and healthy, and a good return out to the 24.
See him back out on the field. Almost amazing blocking there to start, and then it kind of just blew up in space.
And Aiden, the bright side for Chicago, at least they didn't turn the football over on that final drive to close the half out, but it was still a 3-and-out.
Yeah, it was a good idea to, punt the ball. It's better than throwing an interception, but...
DC showing a blitz, run play up the middle to Wheatley, and short gain of 2. Looks like Nick Fargo getting in on the stop once more.
This is what I'm talking about. You need to expand your playbook here, that they're going to know that they're running on 1st and 10 almost every time, and DC is just going to have to stop it.
5 tackles for Fargo tonight. Patak going to throw, finds Truth once again. That play has been working well the couple of times they've run it.
That's what I'm talking about. Patak has an arm. He needs to just use it more.
Truth able to find a little bit of hole in the zone defense. Setting up the big play and a 1st and 10.
Watch the 2 backs on the top left of your screen. Interested to see what's going to happen there.
DC showing blitz, they'll send it. Attack, no time at all, and he's going to go. Jose Fuentes with the sack.
That was just blown up coverage. The offensive line blew up before he could even make a decision there.
5-yard loss on the sack, first sack of the game. 2nd and 15. Patak in trouble again, trying to find a little space, and he'll get sacked again. This time from Seth Harrison.
Seth Harrison with a big sack there. He's been quiet so far in this game, but big block, and just the blocks were just blowing up again on the Chicago offensive line. Third and a country mile here.
We want to talk about not a whole lot of plays in the playbook. This is a situation right here where you don't have much, as Patak is going to take off and run. Hit right at the line of scrimmage. Big hit there by number 50, Chris Britton III, and it's going to bring up a 4th down.
And that's what I'm talking about, that every time he senses pressure, he scrambles up the middle. 3rd and 18, that is the last thing you want to do, is scramble up the middle. Try to look for a throw, at least.
Another good stop by the DC defense. They'll get their first crack at the football here in the second half. As Say going to return this one out to the 24-yard line. Shabazz Synergy 5 of 12 for 63 yards in the first half through 2 picks. QBR of 19.1. That's a big yikes.
That's This DC defense has been locking up all cylinders this game. It's been hard for this Chicago offense, especially for Patek, to just start getting it going, and he's not been able to.
Chuck Steller going to be the single back to start things off. A couple tight ends in the formation for synergy. Shabazz will throw. Quick fires it. Low ball up in the air and incomplete. That was a weird ricochet intended for Mason Kirby.
It's off the hands there. I thought that was going to be an interception.
Well, it definitely didn't look like it was going to be a completion, and then the ball hung in the air. It was just a really weird way for the ball to ricochet for Chicago to almost have an opportunity at a turnover. Instead, it would be 2nd and 10. Synergy in trouble, and we got our first sack for Chicago.
That's big, the Brickshaw Molinex. Good for him with the big sack. Just got right through that offensive line.
He's had a quiet evening as well, but able to break through there, get off his block pretty quickly. Good little swim move, and right into Synergy's lap. So now Molyneux with a sack for Chicago, Harrison and Fuentes with a sack for DC.
It's another trick on the playbook there, another country mile for the first down. Let's see what DC can draw up here.
5 wide, Synergy going to take off and run, and much like Patak, gets buried a couple yards north of the line of scrimmage. Going to bring up a 4th down.
I understand why they scrambled again after the failure that was. Patak tried to do the exact same thing and it failed. But now you got to punt this ball away, giving Chicago a chance to capitalize.
So both defenses with sacks to stall the drives of their opposing offenses. Not a whole lot on the return there, but a good field position at the 47-yard line. We'll see if Chicago can finally get themselves on the board.
They obviously need to do better than what they've been doing now. I'm interested to see if they're going to warm up that arm of Patek again. See if they can get some of those receivers open.
Well, the split backs look 3 wide. Right up the middle and good space for the running back to work with. And Beasley able to get close to 10.
That offensive line shoveling a path for him almost perfectly. Only got to the 2nd level where he got tackled there by one of the linebackers.
Second and inches. Offset eye. DC showing blitz once again. And a little bit of a QB sneak. That was really quick by Patak, able to get the necessary yardage for the 1st down.
QB sneak's been working well on both sides for each team this time. Synergy was using the same thing.
They'll extend the drive. Deeper into DC territory they go. Attack, a delayed handoff. Fargo able to drag down the running back. And a gain of 7 on that play. It looks very similar to what we saw in the first half, where the rushing attack was working well for the Warriors.
Especially that first drive. Unfortunately, that did end in a fumble. Hopefully that repeat mistake does not happen again.
Beasley with the carry on that one for 7, bringing up 2nd and 3. Split back look, heavy set, up the middle again. This time Wheatley with the carry, and he'll get the 1st down.
That's that rushing attack that's really been hurting that DC defense, but they've capitalized it on before. Let's see if DC can make them pay for it again.
Under 5 to go here in the 3rd. Attack to throw. Pressure in his face. Going to throw into coverage and incomplete, but a penalty mark.
That might be a pass interference.
And that is indeed what they're going to call. So they will get some yardage off of that one, setting up a 1st goal here from the DC 9.
I looked a little too bunched up right there. He's going to shove off 18. You can't do that. Can't shove off Caleb Gifts there. And just the handout, that's going to be Britton. That's going to get called on the penalty there. It
was a good eye by Patak to notice the mismatch there. The linebacker on the wide receiver. And even though he didn't complete it, he was able to draw the flag.
If you're Chicago, you have to capitalize here.
Blitz coming. Attack. Throws almost intercepted again.
That is not what I meant.
Daryl Bullock, who had a pick earlier in the game, almost had another one there.
They're very sloppy throwing the ball here. You got to take better control of the ball.
Eight in the box here for DC. Second and goal. Patak to throw, trying to find some room, going to take off and run. Didn't have an opportunity to slide and gets gang tackled near the 5.
And that's the point where you scramble, not on 3rd and 18, right there. Beautiful run there by Patak, though.
Just outside the 3-yard line, 3rd and goal. Patak going to try to sneak it, but he has no room to operate. Big hit by Fuentes, who had a sack earlier in the quarter, and now it's a 4th and goal.
He's been having himself quite the game, and they're going to force Chicago to take a field goal, and that is not what you want if you're the Chicago offense.
In a game like this, points are at a premium. You got to take the opportunity. 20-yard field goal going to be up and through. And Chicago finally has their first points on the board, courtesy of Christian Ronald-Sue.
Sorry, that caught me a little off guard there.
I love his name. I have to give him a little pig call every time that I say his name. It's just once. It's just once. I'm not gonna. We're not gonna do the pig calls all up and down, especially in a game like this. Who knows how many more field goals we're going to get? That'll be a lot.
Baker's working extra time today.
Kevin Say with the return, he'll bring it out to the DC 29-yard line with just under 4 to go. Folks, you're watching the Simulation Football League action here on the Virtual Football Network. And this week on VFN, we'll feature SFL Week 2 action Sunday and Monday. The UFL is going to be on Saturday, Tuesday, and Friday. Then back to SFL in Week 3, Saturday and Sunday. No other network gives you more football. The SFL lives on VFN.
The advertising there.
We love to get as many eyes on the tube here as possible.
Oh, definitely.
As Harrison, he's been running hard all game long, continuing to do so and getting a big chunk of 9 yards to start things off.
If you're DC here, you want to stick with what you do best and don't try to make stupid decisions, especially with some of those very weak throws. Especially now, you're only up by 1 possession. At the most, they can come back with a field goal. You need a touchdown or at least another field goal here.
Might be another QB sneak situation. We've seen Shabazz sneak it a couple different times in scenarios like this. Instead, going to keep it on the ground to Stellar. Avoids initial contact in the backfield and able to surge ahead for a couple of yards to extend the drive.
What a run there, again up the middle. I thought he was going to sneak it like they usually do, but nice little handoff to Stellar. 52 yards on 10 carries. He's averaging almost 5.5 yards per carry. What a game by him.
All the running backs have been running the ball pretty well, with the exception of Say having a bit of an off day, and we see why right there. Every time he touches the football, just unable to get any sort of room out of the backfield.
That could either be his fault or the offensive lines, but that Chicago has been blowing up as soon as Say gets on the field.
I think the difference between the running backs, Harrison and Stellar have been avoiding initial contact, and Say has been going down pretty much immediately. Another carry for Stellar. Good run there for about 5 or 6, and it'll set up a 3rd and medium.
And if you're DC, I'd throw the ball right now, but who knows? They've been working very well in the run game. Maybe he's handed it off to Harrison, because he's been getting those big yards just as much. Off the run just as much as the throw.
Game like this, it's very hard to tell what the game plan should be with points at a premium. 3rd and 5, Shabazz going to take off and run. Didn't slide and paid for it, but he did get enough for the first down.
That had to hurt.
We've been seeing these quarterbacks take some punishing blows on their runs today. I think we've seen one slide. I think Shabazz has slid one time. Otherwise, they've both been taking hits.
Tap tries the slide, it's just sometimes it doesn't work.
Another run by Stellar for 5 up the middle there. It is true, and sometimes the defense, they really only give you one option, and it's to just take your medicine.
Absolutely, that's where you put the shoulder down right there. Good run by Shabazz there, and another great carry by Stellar, a 2nd and 5 here.
37 yards after contact here for him today. That's absolutely bonkers. Pitch play goes absolutely nowhere. Nothing doing there for the run play, and that's going to bring up a 3rd down.
And something going wrong with those glasses for the DC coach there. We might want to go check on that.
Might be the liquid metal Terminator over there. We'll have to check that out.
Yeah, right.
3rd and 4. Shabazz in trouble. Throws into double coverage and incomplete. Looking for Connor Weston, but it's going to be a 4th and 4. And Chicago has another opportunity here.
And this DC offense is just stalling, giving Chicago way too many opportunities to come back here.
And as I mentioned, DC with a very slow start a week ago against Carolina had to wait until the final frame, the final minute of the 4th quarter to take their first lead of the ball game with only about 2 seconds to go. And we're seeing more of the same here today. This time just slightly in reverse. They've been holding the lead virtually the entire game, but really no momentum for them at all.
No momentum really on any side here. And this is where, especially, I've been saying this all game, but Chicago really needs to capitalize here. This is a massive, massive drive.
Attack 7 of 12, just over 100 yards, and threw a pick. Delayed handoff up the middle. Like he shifted off tackle there. Only a gain of a couple, bringing up 2nd and 8.
That's that run up the middle that's been working all game for those short little yards, but they're going to want to watch this click down, hopefully lead this into the 4th quarter with some decent field position.
Attack the throw on 2nd down, got no time once again. 3rd sack of the evening for this DC defense, and the 1st for Mike Wagner.
And that DC's letting them hear it. He's hyping up the home crowd there. Number 51 just demolished Patek there.
Well, look, Wagner's a big dude. He's 6'1" and a casual 350. So, you know, that was probably a big hit, regardless of if it was with his pinky finger or, you know, his whole body.
Yeah, 350 pounds is still 350 pounds coming at you, no matter how you want to say it.
End of 3 here in DC. The Dragons on top 6-3 as you're watching the SFL on VFN. Eric Vincent alongside Aiden Texera. JW Hartshorn and Mike Daggs in the stats truck. Commissioner Cameron Irvine back at SFL HQ. Final frame of action here in Dungeon of Dracarys Coliseum. Attack, retreating, throws, and man, there were 5 different DC jerseys in that area. That was not where to throw the football on 3rd and long.
Absolutely, that was just a bad throw, and Chicago now giving that DC another chance to pull even further ahead.
Both offenses, a little bit of momentum, and then slowly start to sputter. DC with the 6-3 advantage, though, and an opportunity to chew some clock here in the 4th quarter as Say gets the return out to the DC 40-yard line. So good starting field position here for the Dragons and an opportunity to make this a 2-possession game.
Absolutely, they have DC has Chicago right where they want them. This is where you can pull out, take the lead, and hopefully put this game to bed.
You got to think that a touchdown here would almost secure it with just the way that we've seen both these offenses operate.
Absolutely, this could be a real crowd silencer right here. Just get a quick touchdown, suck any life that was already there out of Chicago, and stay with the win.
Shabazz, good throw there into traffic. Connor Weston able to hold on through contact, and another 1st down for the Dragons.
You haven't seen much of that today. Some big throwing plays here by Synergy. What horrendous QB rating, 18.3.
Only completed literally a handful of passes. Only 5 completions today for Synergy.
Get that number up.
Offset eye look, handoff up the middle, Say, patient running there, probably his best run of the night. And that really sums up how his night has gone, gain of 4.
And again, did shake up that initial contact, but then just got clobbered on the second one. Great play by the defensive line by Chicago there.
Keeping it on the ground, chewing more clock. Harrison with the carry. And they'll give him forward progress to go ahead and move the sticks. First down.
They're going to keep driving this ball slowly and surely. They want to take as much clock as they physically can to give Chicago as little time as possible to get down the field and score.
Ball marked at the 30-yard line. Kirby the motion man. Handoff goes to Say, trying to churn his feet and get any sort of room. Only a couple on that play, bringing up 2nd and 8.
That's just been the story all night for him. Can't really shake off the contact there. Another 2nd and manageable here.
Synergy to throw. Wide open is Connor Weston. Who was covering him on that play? There wasn't anybody within 5 yards of him.
I guess Casper the Friendly Ghost is my answer to that.
Probably a good guess, but man, it was just bad coverage.
And look at it. 25 just went out onto that corner. I don't know what he was looking for. They were probably running a zone coverage there. Played his zone terribly as Derek Majors with the miscommunication there.
Majors looked like he was trying to cover the flat, and there was no one on his backside to really cover his 6. So a big play there for the DC offense. We haven't seen many of them in the passing game tonight. But here they are in the SFL red zone with the first set of downs. Synergy. Throws, end zone, incomplete. Threw it into double coverage, and he's thankful that one hit the turf.
It looked like he almost caught that for a second. He caught that for a second, I'm not going to lie.
These DC receivers, they've got the hands to really make those tough catches, which is probably why we've seen so many of these throws from Shabazz today. But man, oh man, it's nail-biting when you watch him play. He'll go back to the air, and he's going to get sacked. 2nd sack of the evening here for the Chicago defense, and 2nd one goes to DeBrickashaw-Molyneux.
It's the 2nd sack of the game. Big play by him, and DC stalling again where you can't stall like this.
His first sack he was able to get off of a nice little swim move. That time, a good spin move. Getting into the lap of Synergy and bringing him down for the 2nd time.
3rd and about a country mile here.
Synergy trying to find some room to operate. Nothing doing. And this time it's going to be a sack for Derek Majors, redeeming himself on that long play a couple of plays ago.
And again, the same thing we've been talking about, the scrambling on 3rd and 18. I don't know why they keep doing it. Just stop, please.
A little bit of panic from both of these quarterbacks, it seems, as both of these defenses have played tough. Now a 38-yard field goal attempt. And it is up and through, so 3 for 3 is Ron Van Cleef on the day, all 9 of his leg, and DC extends the lead.
I give him a substantial play boost of how he's played today.
6:20 to go here in the 4th quarter of play. We'll remind you that tomorrow, Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green for the SFL This Week, recapping Week 2, and Cam and Charles for the first Monday Night Spectacular of the season, live from Detroit for the Maulers home opener. Detroit welcomes Pittsburgh to town as both teams try to shake off Week 1 losses. It all starts at 7:15 p.m. Eastern right here on VFN.
What a return there by Tarantino. Gets it almost off the 30 there, looking like 28, 26.
So now Chicago's defense, they did their job. They held DC to a field goal. Still a one-possession game here for Chicago. They got to find the end zone here.
This is a do-or-die drive. I know I've been saying that for the past like 5 drives, but it's true this time.
certainly getting to that point, especially here in the fourth quarter of play. Good run by 6 to start things off.
A beautiful run there. Let's see if that opens up a running game, or they're going to look for the pass.
Going to be a pitch to Wheatley, trying to find a couple blocks, and he'll get close to the line to gain. Fargo, another tackle. He's been really popular tonight. That's a 7th.
And a big game by him. He's definitely going to be nice on the stat sheet there. 6 tackles, and I thought he had a sack for a second there, but apparently not.
Split back look on 3rd and 1 for Chicago. Up the middle, first down yardage and more, continuing to work the legs is Wheatley, and he's able to keep the sticks moving for the Warriors.
Just carried him. Carried him for a few yards there. Kind of just shoved them up there with his shoulder, and they just couldn't take him down. Needed 2 men to take him.
And if you're Chicago, especially the way that you've been running your offense, you're running the football a lot. You're chewing up a ton of clock. If you've got an opportunity to get yourselves into the end zone, there may not be any time left on the clock for DC to come back. And what a blitz there by Nick Fargo. We've been saying his name all night long, and now he is injured.
Great defensive play. I don't know if he got injured there. Maybe his arm, looks like. Maybe his arm got caught in between there. Loss of 2, 2nd and 12. That is not what you want to see if you're the Chicago offense right now.
And that was a big TFL there. Just timed the snap count absolutely perfectly. He's been the captain of the defense tonight. We'll have to keep an eye to see when he's back in the lineup with just over 5 minutes to go here in regulation.
This is where, if you're Chicago, their best player on defense was just taken off the field. You need to capitalize here.
Attack to the air, over the middle, tough catch, but it's made by Fullerton, and it's going to be a first down for the Warriors.
Risky throw, high reward. That is going to be the first down. They're going to let this clock tick as much as they can, hopefully to end this drive in 6 to put this game away.
Definitely a gutsy throw by Patak. It's been great coverage, really, by both of these teams, but DC playing the pass game really, really well, especially on that play, and Patak somehow able to find the open man.
2-back formation, 3 receivers out. Let's see what they do here.
First down, Patak gonna throw an interception right in the middle of the field. That was Chris Britton III, and he comes down with a costly turnover here for Chicago.
And that might just spell the end for Chicago there. What an interception by Chris Britton.
Looked like Patak was trying to go over the middle to Fullerton, just mistimed the route, threw it right into Britton's hands.
That is not what you wanted to do there.
So now with 4.5 to go here in the fourth, DC up by 6. They can just chew some clock. Coco in motion, offside eye.
Your DC just run this ball.
Kevin Say trying to bounce it off tackle there. Gets maybe back to the line of scrimmage, going to bring up 2nd down, but more importantly, like you said, Aiden, clock is going to roll.
Clock is going to roll. They're going to try to take as much off as they physically can on this for this play. Maybe leave Chicago on a 3 and out, maybe a little less than 3:30 on the clock remaining. Let's see what they got.
Pitch goes to Stellar. Avoids initial contact. Big hit by Majors there in the backfield. Loss of 1.
And that's what you want on that Chicago offense. They're not going to use any timeouts right now. They're going to wait. But to save the timeout as much as they physically can for their offense to do work. Let's see what they got on 3rd and 11.
5 tackles, including a sack and a pick for Majors tonight. 3rd and 11, Synergy to throw. Going deep, finds Weston. That's a big play there, deep into Chicago territory.
That might have just spelled the end there. That gave up a big possession there. Synergy, what a throw up the middle. It's like a needle in the camel's eye right there.
Synergy has that cannon arm, and he will throw absolute lasers to his receivers. We haven't seen it a ton tonight because, again, both of these defenses just playing out of their minds. But that was a big play, probably the biggest of the evening for the Dragons. As a 5-yard carry by Say keeps the clock moving once more.
And I'll probably try to wait till this 2-minute warning to start using the timeouts. You need a massive stop here.
Chicago stacking the box once more, anticipating that run. Synergy in no hurry to snap the ball. Instead, he's going to throw. And he throws a wobbler. It's a fumble. And Chicago able to fall on top of it.
Wow. Expecting that to happen. The backwards pass is going to make that fumble because it was trying to be a screenplay. Chicago stop there. You have all 3 timeouts, 2:45. Oh, and that's going to be a challenge.
Going to challenge it, but it certainly looked like it. If it was a pass, I guess that's probably the big question. Did the hit jar the football loose, or was it a pass?
It looked to me that you can't really see the angle here, but when you looked at the play, the wide receiver came back. So I think that is going to be called a backwards pass. And the run on the field does stand.
Yep. And at first glance, and especially on the replay, it certainly looked like it was a backwards pass. It was worth the challenge. But DC losing that one, losing a timeout, and another crucial turnover late in this ballgame.
This is the breaking point. If Chicago does not do anything here, this game is over.
Attack to throw. Tipped ball and incomplete. Great coverage on the back end by Peanut Say, able to get just a fingertip on that one.
Double coverage there. First the tip and then the tackle right after it. Beautiful coverage by that DC defense.
As you see, both teams with 3 turnovers today. Probably none bigger than that backwards pass that was recovered by Melodious Manning, setting up Chicago with an opportunity to win the football game. Attack over the middle, catch made, and that's going to be close to midfield, going to set up a 3rd and short.
They really want to conserve these timeouts here. They're going to want, now it's just throw the ball and hope they catch it.
Fullerton with the catch on that one, 3rd and 2 as we approach the 2-minute warning. Attack on the rollout. He's just going to take it off and run. Throws a spin move, confuses the linebacker, and is able to get just enough for the 1st down.
He did get out of bounds. That was going to stop the clock at 2:13 there. He played up at 10.
Attack absolutely froze Britton with this spin move. It looked like Britton was just stuck. Couldn't figure out where exactly Patak was going to roll, and that gave him just enough time for Patak to get out of bounds.
Hey, here we go. 1st and 10, 2:13 remaining. Let's see what Patak can dial up.
Offset I formation after the motion. Attack, delayed handoff, nothing doing. Fuentes and company getting in there with the stop.
That's going to be the last play before the 2-minute warning. They're going to let the clock tick. You got 3 timeouts. Couldn't be in a better position if you're Chicago, right?
2-minute warning, DC up 9-3. Chicago with the ball. Crucial turnover by the Dragons. Can they pull it out? You're watching the SFL on VFN. Eric Vincent, Aina Texedo with you. JW Hartshorn and Mike Daggs in the stats truck. Commissioner Cameron Irvine back at SFL HQ. 2 minutes to go here in our nation's capital. Chicago with the football. Patak throws it, and it's incomplete. Looked like he had his man. Couldn't quite reel that one in. Going to be a 3rd and long.
That could have been a big play there. Good shot by DC. Hopefully this is 4-down territory if you're Chicago, but let's see what they got in store.
No question. Got to be 4-down territory, down 6.
Trying to see what the tech's made out of.
Empty set, 4 wide and a tight end. Patak in trouble. Going to set his feet, fire over the middle, and it's going to be called a fumble. DC able to pick it up, but I'm not so sure. It certainly looks like
I would challenge that if I were Chicago. I think he had possession.
Well, within 2 minutes, it's going to be a booth review, and I certainly believe that the league office is going to want to take another look at that one because I don't think there was clear possession on that. and they are going to review that.
It didn't look like he had full possession of that football.
So we'll get another look. It's a good throw by Patak. He could have easily came up.
Yeah, there's no way he had possession of that.
No, I don't think so either. I think this is going to be overturned and Chicago get another crack at it.
Did not have possession. That was the ruling. Overturned. Chicago gets one more chance here. Needs to make it count.
Going to be a 4th and long, so they'll need to take advantage of this one. Otherwise, DC probably going to have the opportunity to chew the clock, although we saw how that went on the last possession.
At that point, just start taking... Oh, they do have all 3 timeouts, however.
They do.
DC crowd getting loud, try to get into Patak's head.
Instead, Patak's going to throw a pick. Another turnover here. 4th of the game for the Chicago offense, and Peanut Say comes up with that one.
And I think that just spelled good night to Chicago. What a costly interception. That's just going to end the game right there.
And my apologies. Kev Say Jr. actually coming up with that one. Pretty much sealing the deal. DC just really needs to get 1 first down, and this will put the game to bed. High formation for DC. And instead, Synergy's going to throw it. They'll throw it over the middle. One-handed grab from Percoco, and that's a gain of 8. Chicago will call a timeout. And that'll give us an opportunity to shift it over to SFL HQ in our first game break of the night with Commissioner Cameron Irvine. Cam.
Man, you'll never believe this, Eric. 30-24, Lexington beating Arizona. Arizona 6 turnovers on the day. Lexington 0, but Highwind in the final seconds catches a game-winning touchdown, and then Arizona got an interception, the first Lexington turnover of the day. 31-30 Arizona as the time is running out. Back to you.
Thank you, Cam. It certainly seems like we're getting a lot of wacky games here today. We've had 7 collective turnovers between our 2 teams here in the nation's capital. DC trying their best to give the ball back to Chicago, it seems, but we'll see how that all ends out. As Chicago now with 2 timeouts, Synergy going to run the football, and that's going to pretty much do it.
Team's throwing great passes to the other team.
Or, you know, backwards passes in certain cases as well.
Oops. They're just going to take knees here.
So it'll be 2 back-to-back wins for DC where they had to fight and claw their way the entire game. Chicago going to just go ahead and let this clock roll. And man, the Dragons, they are coming out of this one 2-0, but it's not a happy 2-0. It's a sweaty 2-0.
This does not look like a team that should be undefeated now.
Still early in the SFL season 25, but man, oh man, both of these wins by DC, it could go either way. You could say this is a really tough team, that they gutted out both the wins that they got. Or you could say, well, you really didn't look like an undefeated team in both of those wins. Time will tell.
The win's a win, but I seriously don't know why Chicago's not taking timeouts here.
Not really any sort of need to at this point, considering, DC had gotten the first down. There's no real reason to burn the timeouts. There's no opportunity to get the football back at this point. It's just going to be one more kneel down, and that's going to be all she wrote.
If I was the coach, I'd play the final down here, but Chicago doesn't think they can come back on this.
Shabazz going to take one more knee here, and that is going to do it here from Dungeon of Dracarys Coliseum. DC winning their home opener 9-3 against the Chicago Warriors, who fall to 1-1 on the young season. Knockdown, drag-out fight from both of these teams. Like I said, 7 collective turnovers between both of these ball clubs. Aiden, your final thoughts, sir?
Defensive slugfest through and through. they really need to. Chicago needs to go back to the drawing board on that, throwing multiple costly interceptions there. DC doing the same, but luckily their defense made up for it, and no touchdowns from this game. It feels like I'm watching Iowa football right now.
It certainly feels that way, right? But absolutely, both offenses pretty anemic through the entirety of the game. Both quarterbacks having a ton of trouble. Player of the game gotta be field goal kicker for DC, Ron Van Cleef, with 3 for 3 here tonight.
He's definitely going to be popular when he gets back. When they get back to the locker room, definitely saves that game for him a few times.
Well, on behalf of Aiden Teixeira, JW Hartshorn, Mike Daggs, and the Stats Truck, Commissioner Cameron Irvine back at SFL HQ. My name is Eric Vincent. Thank you for tuning in to this presentation of the SFL on VFN. Be sure to visit simfl.net for more information on our league. And remember, if you had half as much fun as I did, well, I had twice as much fun as you. We'll see you later.